By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures.
Well, we all saw this coming. During a cabinet meeting yesterday, HHS Secretary RFK Jr. made a commitment to find answers to the autism epidemic by September, as though no one's looked into it before. And suddenly, oh, we should just look into it. Let's give ourselves like a 5-month deadline and we're good. Before we hear more from Kennedy, Cenk, what are your initial thoughts on the autism epidemic in general?
I can name that tune in 3 months. Right. No, there's some chance that he's not gonna make it. But look, let's find out what he's talking about. Does it have any kind of validity to it? Does he know something we don't know? Well, tell us, Ben.
Okay, so let's hear a bit more about it from Kennedy and Trump directly. They may not be doing themselves any favors by talking about this so specifically and so kind of guess and check vibes on camera to the world. But let's take a look, you be the judge.
The autism rates have gone from now most recent numbers we think are going to be about 1 in 31, from 1 in 20, so they're going up again. From 1 in 10,000 when I was a kid. And we are going, at your direction, we are going to know by September. We've launched a massive testing and research effort that's going to involve hundreds of scientists from around the world. By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures.
So big. Think of that. So it was 1 in 10,000 children had autism, and now it's 1 in 31. Not 31,000, 31. That's a horrible statistic, isn't it? And there's got to be something artificial out there that's doing this.
What a wildly specific time frame to mention, almost as though the man has never quite worked in government before and doesn't really know how things work, but that's just my guess. And don't worry, Trump explains exactly what he means when he says could be something artificial.
We will know by September.
There will be no bigger news conference than that. So that's it. If you can come up with that answer where you stop taking something, you stop eating something, or maybe it's a shot, but something's causing it. It can't be from 10,000 to. Can you imagine that, Marco? That's a big number.
I love how Burgum, as soon as Trump basically mentions it could be the vaccines, turns to RFK like, oh, he said it. What's your response? And I also love how scared from mentioning vaccines as a possible cause RFK now officially is, now that he's in power. He is afraid to even say the word. It could be air, it could be sea, it could be land, it could be turtles maybe causing it. We don't know. So at least, he's fallen in line to a degree. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. But Trump did just publicly suggest that vaccines cause autism. Now scientists, of course, have been studying the cause of autism for decades. I guess they just never thought about saying by September. According to New York Presbyterian, autism is something a person is born with and affects brain development. There does not appear to be a single cause for autism spectrum disorder. It is believed that numerous factors combined can affect the development of a person's brain. Environmental factors and genetics are also believed to play a part in the presence of ASD. To be fair, there's of course a possibility that there is some yet unknown factor contributing to the increase in autism diagnosis. However, doctors say autism develops during fetal development, not after birth. Who knows for real, but that's what all evidence that is credible points to. Now, if Kennedy wants to push for more autism research, that's great. As Cenk would say, have at it, Hoss. But to be 1,000,000% clear, extensive and thorough research concludes with the utmost confidence that childhood vaccines do not cause autism. The main reason they think autism rates have been rising are experts say these rising rates are largely due to a better awareness, a wide definition of autism spectrum disorder, and better access to services, leading to more children being screened and diagnosed. A lot more to cover, but this is a good pause point. I'm curious, Cenk, a little bit more your thoughts in depth.
Yeah, so first some fun stuff from that visual. Rubio looking wonderfully uncomfortable. Marco, isn't that remarkable? He's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, sure, very remarkable. Okay, number 2, Trump's hair looks weirdly pink, doesn't it? Okay, just a fun fact. It's how the light is hitting it. So, all right, main point is the one that Ben's making. Brother, why are you saying September? Like, you're now over-promising and you're doing it so boldly and confidently. And remember, a lot of Trump supporters believe everything they say. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? So they probably think that they're really gonna figure it out by September. And they're all hyped up, I can't wait, it could be the biggest press conference ever, according to Trump. I'm like, great, we're gonna solve autism. How could you possibly do studies that quickly? Like, studies take a long, long time. And we already know the studies that exist, and they come out overwhelmingly against Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s position. So like, there's no magic fix in the studies that already exist. You're gonna do new studies, they're going to be definitive, they're all gonna be concluded by September, and you already know ahead of time that they're going to have a definitive answer, even though the other studies didn't. To say that that's a bold claim is, underselling it. That is crazy bold. And of course it's not gonna happen. So then they're setting themselves up for failure. These guys, they don't know how to manage anything without some guardrails that some of the professionals had in the first term for Trump. Without any guardrails or breaks, Trump's just an out of control freight train. Now we're solving autism by September, rebuilding manufacturing. No, we're not. I'm taking away the tariffs. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna solve everything by September. Are you? Because it doesn't look like it. And look, and here we're fair. Like Joe Biden, and this doesn't get talked about enough. He said he was gonna cure cancer. Cancer still appears to be entirely uncured, but at least Biden had a reasonable time frame. He's like, by the end of my first term. Okay, that's at least 4 years, not 4 months, but that wasn't gonna happen either. And by the way, I was the bad guy when I said, you're not gonna cure cancer. That if we could cure cancer, we would have cured it already. Not just because it's good for humanity, but because there'd be a lot of money in it. Same thing with autism. So this is just, if you're on the right, you should be more angry than we are, because that's all that's gonna do is cause you more damage.
Like the Trump administration is a great example of an agenda with no plan. Their agenda is what it's been for decades, longer than I've been alive, like taking away the administrative state and cutting social security programs and all of that, blah, blah, blah. But it's like they wake up every day and we're like, what are we gonna do today? Like the same administration that's cutting cancer research programs and cutting grants and slashing everything and pretending like we don't need to treat science like it's important. Now, all of a sudden by September, you're gonna discover things about autism that nobody's ever discovered before by September. And what will that be? Are you gonna have like some type of vaccination, which is hilarious? How are you gonna just end autism? And as Ben pointed out before, over time, autism or any type of neurodivergent condition or anything gets broken up into categories. There's deeper understandings of how it impacts people's lives. So and for Trump to suggest that maybe people are getting autism because of something in the food they're eating, when this man eats Big Macs and Diet Coke like every single meal. It's like these people are morons. This has to be the dumbest administration in American history. There's no way that there's ever been an administration dumber than this. At least
I mean, there are some good candidates for competing. I think also maybe, W. Bush, or even Biden not being aware of his surroundings or his cognitive abilities. I don't think that the leader himself speaks well. At least he had maybe smarter, more experienced people around him. It is such a mind-boggling date to specifically choose a date where even Trump himself was like, what do you mean is you're gonna try by September? And Bobby's like, no, 100% by September. He just like tripled down. That said, what they have working for them is the fact that their followers never hold them to any deadlines. They never hold them to any reveal, to any promise. They just like the tough talk. And then also to their benefit in a prediction that won't come true is when you already establish a topsy-turvy up and down administration where decisions can change any moment. A tariff that is said definitively will not change, and only the weak will be defeated by this. The next day you're like, well, actually, let's go back on it all and negotiate and change it and then put it back on and put it back off. People day to day don't expect consistency. So by September, that's old news. They're not gonna remember a damn thing that was said in this meeting. On the flip, it might be something in the food. It might be something in the water or the air. There's something doing it. It's not just definitions. And it might, I don't know, who knows what it might be. It seems the research certainly doesn't show that vaccines cause autism, but also you're giving babies 80 vaccines or whatever. It's a lot of stuff to be putting, a lot of toxins to be putting in their body before they have developed immune system. So I think a lot needs to be studied. In a follow-up interview with Fox News, Kennedy stated the NIH would be the ones overseeing the research, saying we're gonna look at everything. Everything is on the table, our food system, our water, our air. We'll find out what's triggering this epidemic. We know it's an environmental toxin that's causing this cataclysm. Through research at NIH, we will find an answer to this question. And just again, a note, the environmental toxin is a potential factor, but it's just one factor that may increase the likelihood of autism. It's not everything. Luckily, though, there are some more educated voices in government in regards to this. In his confirmation hearing, NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya said he fully supported childhood vaccination and didn't generally believe there was a link between vaccines and autism. But he said finding answers on the rise in autism cases generally was a vital public health goal. Also notably, RFK himself recently told people the best way to prevent measles in children is the MMR vaccine that he has spoken against in the past, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican and chairman of the Senate Health Committee, hammered Bhattacharya with some truth during that hearing I just spoke of regarding this planned research, saying there's an opportunity cost if we continue to plow the barren ground of something which has already been validated multiple times, that there's not a connection between vaccination and autism. Cassidy added he supports more research into the causes of autism. However, quote, if we're throwing away money over here, that's less money than we actually have to go after the true reason, which is a good point. But I do think taking it seriously should be lauded. I think that's a good approach the Trump administration's making, and maybe setting a very tight deadline at least puts fire under everybody's asses. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so last things here for me. One is, so we know the main reason why the number seems to have spiked is because now we report autism a lot more than we did before. So it's a little bit of an optical illusion. Now, having said that, I don't know that that's the only reason. And it might have been that autism really did go up, and it's not just the reporting of autism that went up. And I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. And I agree with Ben in that, I mean, I don't know about the vaccines, and they seem to have done plenty of studies on that. I agree with the world scientists on that. But it could be something. And so I find myself agreeing with that Republican senator from Louisiana, Bill Cassidy. Why don't you take the money and the time and the effort and put it into finding maybe other causes, right? That might help explain this. But when you say that we're gonna have the answer by September and no new study can really be concluded by September, what you're saying is, I'm going to make up the answer. So that's what I wanna mainly be clear about. Like, all you could do is study the current studies, but we already studied them. So he's just gonna say, oh, we poured through it and I decided that it is a vaccine, or whatever he decided. But the answer is gonna be made up either way.
Yeah, 100% it's gonna be made up, because I mean, we're all entrepreneurs, like it could take months to do very basic things and just general business development. You talking about coming up with new ways of understanding neurodivergency, and then what we can do about it in a handful of months. Crowdsourcing can take forever. Everything worth anything takes time. And two, like, not only just that, again, this is coming from the same people who slashing all these grants, cutting US aid, don't want to believe that climate change is a real thing. So there's no real consistency here. Like, why are you so concerned with autism, but you don't care about science in general? And then, as you pointed out, by September, like, well, we're probably not gonna hear about this again. That would be my guess. September gonna roll around and they're not even gonna be talking about this, but we'll see.
Probably more than anything, they just needed something to distract from the tariff news cycle. And Trump was like, Bobby, we need something. Can you make an insane prediction?
Get rid of autism. That's what we're gonna do.
I'm sure. And then
tell Elon Musk to get a snip. What you call? Had him to stop having kids.
Well, that's a different solution. That would be hilarious if that's what he said in the press conference. We figured it out. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.